back. And then, yeah, please do your best to think out loud. We're really interested in hearing your thoughts about what you're seeing and the experience in general. We're going to work on the task until the time allotted runs out. That's 20 minutes. If you don't finish, that's okay. Test the system, not you. Please, if you can, try not to click or move ahead until we discuss why you're going to do it and we agree this is the time to go forward. That being said, if you do that, no problem. There's no wrong answers. You can do whatever you want. Any questions before you begin?
Just could I minimize the little video?
Oh yes, can she minimize the video? So she doesn't see herself?
I just minimize it so I can have more space. Is that okay?
Sure.
Is it still recording? Okay.
And now I need to get back to
sometimes we want to keep that simply because we want to see if the person is confused or not. Facial expression. But that's
well, we can see
it shows there. It's just on this.
But it's not on there. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
So now, if you wouldn't mind, please use this interface in front of you to select a meal plan that is right for you. Okay, that's the task.
Select a meal plan. That's right for me.
Yeah. So let's now talk about what you're seeing in front of you. What are you looking at?
So I am on the homepage of Mademeals. I see I could get started by putting in my email and entering my zip code. I'm presuming my zip code is asked to know, my location, or perhaps to look at like the proximity of different restaurants or so that could participate in Mademeals. Now that I'm scrolling, I see depiction of how it works. So I get to pick my meals, describes that it's sourced from local ingredients. Made meals are cooked and delivered, and then it comes straight to me so I can eat and enjoy. A little bit more of who the company is, background of that, and the ingredients that the company uses. Okay. And then I see that there are 3 different menu options, and I could view plans. I'm presuming I could view plans for each menu option, or one that may encompass all the different types of meals. Okay. And towards the bottom seems like some reviews of members of the community who have tried it. And they all seem to be very much positive reviews. And then again, another call for me to get started.
Cool.
Okay, so the task is
the task that we're going to have you walk through is to find a meal plan that's right for you.
Okay.
And select it.
Okay.
But before we do that, I am curious to talk about some of the things you mentioned while you were talking. So one of the things you mentioned early on regarding the box you see in the upper left corner of the screen right now, healthy chef prepared meals, regarding the zip code. Do you recall what you said regarding the zip code?
Yes, I said the Mademeals could be asking for my zip code to just know my location, perhaps see what could be delivered to me based on my area.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And then that being said, that box in general, when you put in your personal information and click get started, what would you anticipate would happen at that point?
I would anticipate probably some type of form I would need to fill out with more details of, perhaps my name, maybe even going more into what kind of meals am I looking for, what kind of plan am I willing to sign up for.
Okay. And then that being said, how do you feel about giving your personal information like email and zip code?
I feel okay with that. I think it's pretty standard in a lot of different services, a lot of websites, email. My other subscription services, I'm constantly asked for email and zip code. So I feel okay.
Okay, cool. And the other question I wanted to ask was, I asked you to take a look at the website and see what you saw. And you looked at the entire page, right? I mean, did a fair amount of scrolling. Now, it's a hard question maybe to answer, to put yourself in the shoes of somebody that wasn't asked to do that, put yourself in your everyday shoes. Do you feel as a savvy user that amount of scrolling would be something you would normally do?
Well, there was a fair amount of scrolling. I felt comfortable with the length of it. I didn't think it was extremely long. I'm actually more pleased that it was this length than like too short, mainly because I'm very much new to this service. I'm actually new to like any kind of meal subscription service that fits this kind of description. So I liked it actually. I like the thorough, how it works, breaks it down. I like finding out a little bit more about the company, the reviews at the bottom, and then a little bit more about the ingredients. So I was okay with that.
Cool. So whenever you're ready, move on to the next logical step in the process. With the task again to select a meal plan that is right for you.
Okay. So I recall when I was scrolling down, I saw view plans, this button right here. So I would want to go ahead and click on this. Okay. Now I see there are 3 different options. I could choose either 3 meals per week, 4 meals per week, 5 meals per week. They're all priced at different price points. I'm pretty new to this, so I think I'm going to choose the cheaper option.
Okay. And now, sorry. Before you click on it, talk to me more about, expand on that if you want. The cheaper option.
Why I chose a cheaper option? So I am new to these kinds of subscription meal services, and because I want to test it, I want to see if it's really worth committing to 5 meals per week or 4. I would, just to like dip my toes into it, I would feel more secure with just going 3 a week.
And now,
and the price point is less.
And now, now that we've settled on 3 meals per week, talk to me about the information that you can see in front of you there that tells you everything you know up to this point about what 3 meals per week means.
Okay, so I see 3 meals per week, it's actually 20. Okay, what does it mean compared to the others? So it's $20 or $60 a week. If I wanted to increase it, it'll be a little cheaper, but it's cheaper per meal, but it's more expensive for the whole weekly price. And then the third option is somewhat even less expensive, however, per meal. However, it's more throughout the week. Yeah. So I automatically saw the weekly option. So I made my decision not based because it's 20 per meal, but it's 60 per week. So I'm paying less a week, even though I'm getting less meals per week. So that's why I went with that.
So you talk to me a little bit more about that one. So I'm just trying to understand the logic behind the cost of meals per meal per week, and what's motivating you.
What's motivating me to choose 3 meals per week?
And we know we've talked about price, but beyond that, the information you just talked about regarding the other cards on the screen, it's cheaper per, it's more expensive per.
Yeah. So 2 reasons why I want to sign up for 3 meals. The first one is I don't want to commit to 5 a week just yet. I want to try to see if I'm even going to like the choices that are provided, if I'm going to like the food, I'm going to like the quality. So I'd rather to start off with pay for less amount of meals to be delivered to me.
Sure.
Yeah. And then the second option is it's still cheaper to go with the 3 meals per week.
And now you just mentioned the word options, meal options, right? To not knowing what they are. So moving forward, how would you anticipate to understand what the options are?
Repeat that again?
If my understanding is correct, I think we are going to be moving with 3 meals per week, mostly because of price point. And you're unsure what's coming ahead, right?
Correct.
What the options are going to be.
Yeah.
So when would you anticipate learning more about those options, I guess, in the life cycle of this process?
Okay, so let's say I enjoy the service and I want to find out what are my other options aside from sticking with my 3 meals per week. I would anticipate that I could change my plan. Perhaps looking into like my profile account or my membership account, and just be able to select a new plan. Mm-hmm.
And then right now, what do you think the meal options are?
So from going by the homepage, I know that the meal options have certain quality of ingredients and how they're sourced. I don't know further than exactly like what kind of cuisines are offered. I don't know yet, exactly the ingredients. It's a very general depiction from the homepage. I would assume that by clicking, let's say like I move forward with the 3 options a week, then the next page would break down more of that kind of the kind of like food that's offered or the kind of meals that I could put together. So it wouldn't be until after I select my plan. Mm-hmm. Although now that I think about it, it would be actually very, very helpful to get a better look at what kind of cuisine or so, like, is it Mediterranean or Italian or so, whatever, anything like that, before selecting a plan. Yeah, I would want to know a little bit more of what kind of food exactly is offered.
Cool. And that being said, is there anything that you see in front of you that might help you figure that out today, prior to selecting the choose 3 meals a week plan?
Okay, let's see. It says, so this page is specifically just on plans. Our plans will be available for subscription once we launch. Stay tuned, and until then, leave us your email. Okay, so it's not, oh, okay. So now I'm scrolling. Okay, so initially, I didn't even know that I could continue scrolling. There was no, there was no signifier or anything that it could tell me to keep viewing the other plan. So now that I am noticing that, I see there are many more options for plans. So I see there are 7, either weekly or just a la carte. And then, so if I'm understanding this correctly from the initial message, it's not a launch service yet. Okay. So because it hasn't launched yet, I would even want to know even further, like what are the exact meals that are offered? Or what, at least some kind of close depiction of what could be offered. Okay, I'm looking at the common questions. Are your meals fresh or frozen? How long do meals last in the fridge? Do you use organic ingredients? Do you change the meals on your menu? Can I skip or pause my subscription? How do I heat up my meals? Okay, so these questions still don't answer my initial question, which was more, I'm more interested in like the cuisine. What kind of meals are offered?
And pardon me one moment.
Yeah.
Danny, there's a taskbar pinned to the top of her viewport. Can you make that go away?
Okay.
Okay, now.
Yeah. Okay.
At this point, we're still sort of working on where would you discover the information about the cuisine, right?
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Just take another moment.
Sure. So now I can see all these different options here. I want to see the sample menu before I view the plans. Okay, great. So because our menu is constantly rotating, we periodically update this page with customer favorites. This is exactly what I would want to see. Okay, great. So I see all kinds of quinoa bowls, there's salads, there's different types of chicken plates. Cool. So this gives me a better look at what I could receive. Mm-hmm.
And now, we finally got there. We had the taskbar.
Yeah.
We finally got there via sample menu in the top right-hand corner. Now, as far as the process that you went through, discovering this through that method, how does that feel for you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel more comfortable. Definitely feel more relieved to know that I can view some type of sample menu before. It just gives me better reassurance before signing up. Mm-hmm.
Cool. We are out of time. You did accomplish the task, even though you didn't click on that button.
Yeah.
Because you were about to. Once you accomplished the task, I asked you to do more stuff because I really had some more time.
Mm-hmm.
We did, so this is over. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great job. I will say to the group here, up until I asked Danny to move that taskbar, anything in that top menu bar, she could see it, but it was hard to see it. So if you have any observations related to the inability or inability to click on those buttons, I have to say that data is a little bit spoiled from this test. But that's okay. There was a lot of good stuff in there.
Okay.
And the 2 questions that I was handed, I didn't ask them exactly. This one I kind of did towards the end. And this one, I'm sorry, I just didn't, I don't know who get the same kind of meals for each plan.
That was mine.
I don't know, I just don't know what that is.
Well, I was wondering if you would expect to get like the same kind of meal for all those plans, or they would give you different type of meal, like the cuisine, for example, or something like that. Basically, it's the same question that you're asking. Is like, what am I getting?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So anybody have any observations on the test itself, the questions were asked, anything they want to share with the group right now? Anything interesting, something that stood out?
I actually did a project recently for a meal plan company subscription, and almost all websites are so similar. Like they force you to enter your email address and use the code before you can get into anything, which is really fascinating.
Design trends. I thought it was very interesting. A couple things that I thought were interesting. The fact that you were motivated to scroll the entire page on the home page without, actually talk about everything that you were seeing. It's interesting because I know the way I asked you the question, I asked you to do that. But it's not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's even going to scroll to talk about what they're seeing. They're just going to talk about what they're going to see above the fold. And the fact that your answer to asking you to step back and say, oh, you would have done that anyways, that was very interesting.
Can I add?
Yeah,
something? Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think you had asked me just to let you know what I'm viewing, what am I seeing. And I know I could have mentioned just like what I'm looking at without scrolling. But seeing that I'm a new user to this, I had that instinct to have to scroll just to really see like the credibility of the service. And that I think I would have I'll find it through navigating through the whole page.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I also was impressed by how quickly you got to you basically accomplished the task
yeah, if that taskbar wasn't covering the main nav. Yeah, but okay, cool. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, and I have to say that this is something that I'm constantly working on, and I didn't do a great job of it tonight. But a lot of times you stop talking, and I just look at you. I don't say anything. And that's totally intentional, and it's uncomfortable.
For me to keep going?
It's uncomfortable, to sit in uncomfortable silence, right? And I rushed it a little bit by moving on. But a lot of times, I may just sit for like a whole minute, right, and not say anything. Because a lot of times after you think you're done, and then I don't provoke you to move on, you will then bring out new information that may not have come out already. You see it a lot with like contextual interviews, or like pre-interviews, talking to people about other stuff. Certainly with usability testing too, but like getting comfortable with those silences and just letting the thought sit, even when you think you're done. Sometimes you get the best information after that. So if that made you feel
that's kind of it's kind of like probing in a way without actually asking for the questions. You just wait.
Like, I want more.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that. You're like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we're gonna get a remote user now, somehow.
Do you have his email?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
give you the
little bit of info about each one, view plans. Then from our Mademeals community with 3 customer accounts. And then another place at the very bottom there to enter your information, and then a simple table of contents at the bottom.
Very cool. Thank you for that. So what do you think about this? About this offering, this company?
Certainly something that I am interested in. Just looking on the homepage, there's a lot of information and a lot to scroll that I honestly would probably not make it beyond like what I'm interested in. Again, easy to sign up. That's great.
Oh, sorry. Before we move on, what does sign up mean to you? What does sign up?
Sign up just in terms of creating an account to get more information.
What kind of information?
My guess is usually what comes with this is if I'm not signing up right away or selecting a plan, that I'm getting emails with offers on discounts to encourage myself to go back in the next 24 hours or so and sign up.
Got it. So trying to encourage you to come back and choose a plan.
Correct. But especially what was the thing that stuck out to me in this text was the 9 constantly rotating menu of 9 options, including paleo, vegan, and traditional. I eat, healthily, but I don't know the difference between paleo, vegan, and traditional. Where I thought for me, what set it apart was having these menu options right here, of taking a look at, I liked seeing what the different meals looked like and having just a really simple 1-sentence explanation of it.
Okay.
So I know, okay, cool, when I'm getting a meal, it's going to look vaguely like this. And then I can choose accordingly. Where all of this other ingredients information, who we are, how it works is helpful, but I can, if I want to find more about that, I would click around and necessarily want it on a homepage.
Okay. So let's leave this here without scrolling. How do you expect this to work? Let's say you want to move forward, choosing a plan. How does that work?
Putting in my information and then selecting a plan and then a frequency of plan. And then putting in shipping information, billing information, and then agreeing to most likely a rotating cycle, a level of frequency.
Got it. And you had mentioned something about you wanted to be able to choose the option. At what point do you expect to do that?
Before a credit card would get charged.
And you just do that one time and that's forever? How does that work?
Especially with something like an introductory thing, I'd love to be able to try to have flexibility if I want to go from paleo to vegetarian or, a regular, a standard meal.
Got it. So sounds like once you pick one like paleo and then you're going to be subscribed to the paleo plan until you change it. Is that how you expect this to work?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that you want to do that. What would you do?
That within either this information or further down below, would that select paleo, and my guess is there typically is a minimal price difference between the 3 plans, and then seeing that reflected before I decide to process the charge. Like
the checkout process, right?
Correct.
So what's the difference between this box and the one below where you see the 3 options?
This one is, I would basically consider to be a create account.
Mm-hmm.
Down below is moving forward. It would probably take me to a similar create account, but it's moving forward that once the account is created, this is the plan that I'm moving into.
Which one would you pick?
Of those three,
Okay, let's try that.
I would probably, I'd probably choose traditional.
Okay, so how do you do that?
I would probably, my first instinct would be to just click on traditional meals,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like the action button would be more properly view plans.
Okay, let's
Which
try
might,
that.
should I click on that?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, is this what you had expected?
Yes. Brief review.
What are we seeing here?
I'm seeing different options 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and a la carte.
Mm-hmm. What are those numbers? What do they signify?
The price per meal and then price per week.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. And so it's immediately, it seems like a lot of information,
Mm-hmm.
like too many options of, I mean, there are,
Options, you said?
I see 7 different options for a plan.
And you said, sorry, I missed that. You said too many options?
Yeah, way too many options.
Way too many options. What made you think so?
The fact that I have to scroll to see all the available options to select is, I would I would feel more comfortable knowing, okay, what is the most popular plan on this?
Okay.
Out of the gate, I go, well, I don't know if I need 4 versus 6 meals a week.
How would you go about making the decision now that you're here?
Yeah, I would probably think, okay, on an average week, how many meals would I need? And do I want to do lunch and dinner? Just lunch, just dinner? But out of the gate, the price per meal is a little steep.
How much food do you expect to get per meal?
Based on what the photos looked like, I mean, that seemed to be a fair price.
Okay.
But I could go to a local lunch spot and get that same thing for $12 to $14.
Okay. So any compelling reason to choose this option versus your local?
It being sent to me as opposed to me having to go out.
Okay. Okay. And you had mentioned something about the popular option, right? That could help you make decision better. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I think what the majority of people do in terms of starting out is usually helpful to go, okay, I'd always would rather start with less, and then I find, oh, I really like this, and then I can add more to my order or increase the frequency.
Got it.
Yeah, and that, yeah, looking at the prices, like I don't feel that if I really get 10 meals a week, that I'm getting that much of a savings.
Oh, so the price difference not that significant.
Yeah, and especially giving me so many options further reduces the idea that I'm getting any savings by, like the difference of like 3 to 4 meals a week the difference in that is $18 a week. And so it's the math starts to get, it's like, it's not, I don't feel like I'm gaining much versus if I just decide to go a la carte, which for, you know, but again, a la carte for $20.50, no matter if you fed it to me in bed, I wouldn't pay $20.50 single meal.
Okay. So let's say that you are really, really interested in trying this out. Which option would you go with?
I would say, again, talking no discount codes, no nothing. And if the price didn't bother me, I would probably just start off I would probably go, first instinct would be 5 meals a week, just to see what an average week would look like.
Why 5? Why not 3 or 6 or the a la carte?
Because I'd want to at least see a variety within 5. And then not all of it would be 5 lunches, maybe. It could be a couple lunches, couple dinners. Whereas 3 meals to start off, it seems a little low, and I think doing a la carte out of the gate goes, well, then what's the difference between ordering that and going to like a dig in and getting another bowl?
Okay. So let's say that you want to order this for you and your significant other. How would you go about doing that?
I would take whatever my individual feeling is and then double it. So I would, if I'm feeling I'm going to do 5, then I would do 10.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and then, yeah, I mean, I think even friendly suggestions of like, okay, 4 meals a week is recommended for, you know, one person, and kind of an idea as to how you could use it. Whereas I don't think a one person would order a plan for 10 meals a week for $165 a week.
Okay, fair enough. So do you feel like you have enough information to make a decision whether you want to order or not?
Something that I saw when I was was scrolling quickly, that the meals, can they be frozen?
Okay.
What's the shelf life on the meal?
Why is that important?
No, it was something that just popped out to me as something that's different than another service of going, yeah, you could order 10 meals a week, but they can last refrigerated up to 4 days and frozen up to like 2 weeks. So you don't have to eat all of the meals in 1 week.
Would that change the pricing?
I wouldn't necessarily think so. I just think if that's what sets you apart, making it clear in the language setting up, going, okay, this is what it is.
So let's say you go ahead with one of these. How often do you expect meals to arrive at your place? How often?
How often? I mean, if I'm paying per week, then I'm suggesting that it's coming once a week.
So it's coming once a week?
And that I could cancel at any time or skip a week if I need to. So
let's say 10 meals per week, you get all 10 meals in one drop shipping.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Okay. So you have a good idea of what you're getting, sounds like, from one of these. Okay, cool. So because the reason I asked is because you notice at the top there's navigation item for sample menu, right?
Yeah.
And let's click that and then let's see what we get.
Okay.
Is this helping you understand what you're getting at all?
Yes, but I don't know what plan these would be under.
Oh, I see. Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Like,
Well, clearly, if it's all vegetable based, this like the vegan rustic quinoa bowl would be a vegetarian plan.
mm-hmm.
But I don't know the difference between paleo and vegan, and I just don't know that.
Does this help you make any decision at all?
Not a decision towards a plan because again, I don't know where they belong, but the food looks good, and the fact that again, it's also I would doubt that it comes in the package looking like this. I mean, this is clearly plated that way.
Mm.
But it's certainly more appetizing to look at than you showing me a photo of what it comes looking like as a package, unless it's packaged really beautifully.
Cool. All right, that is all we got. Do you have any additional thoughts on the offering or anything that we talked about so far?
No. I mean, it looks, the food looks good. It looks interesting to me.
Oh, sorry. One question. One more question. Last one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think you can get this today? Like if you want it today, when is the soonest you can get this delivered?
I usually expect with a service like this that takes about a week for everything to get processed and sent out.
Okay. So if you want it today, then the earliest shipping would be next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, Jason.
Yeah, totally.
Much appreciated. That was very helpful. I'm gonna pass this along to the developers and the product owner, and have a great night.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.